It's Lou. I'm back again with another video. This time I thought I would do another ranking, but this time around focus on another franchise that is the Jurassic series. It's a series that I love to death. It's one of the movies that my mother and father introduced to me. It's also just one of the movie franchises that I just take my mom, my brother, just my family in general to go watch. We still love these movies a lot, even though, some of the newer films aren't the greatest, but it's not that bad of a track record. I think most of the movies are pretty good, with maybe two exceptions, but we'll get to those in a bit. But without further ado, let's just rank these bad boys from worst to best. The bottom of the barrel at number 7, I got Jurassic World Dominion. Oh my god, I was so disappointed in this film. I really was, and I was so excited to see it. I took my mom, I took my brother to go watch this film. On the bright side, they enjoyed it a lot more than I do, but I didn't. My mom literally looked at me too. This is a little funny story. When the movie finished, she looked at me and started shaking her head, like as an approval that, this movie was great and something and all, but I just looked at her and was like, no. So yeah, I didn't like this movie, but hey, at least my mom and brother liked it a lot more than I did. But me, I wasn't a fan of it. There were so many things that disappointed me on so many levels. But before I get there, I will say some nice things. I think it's a nicely shot film. I think it's beautiful to look at. The colors are really nice. I still think Claire and Owen are good characters. I really enjoy them. I still think Owen in general is just a cool character. I like the little family dynamic they have in this film. And I don't know, that might be it. There are a lot of things I don't like about this movie. For example, while I'm not mad that they brought back the old cast, I wish they had a better reason to be here, because I think the reason that they gave them just wasn't interesting, and it just was like they brought them back just for nostalgia grab. Another thing I don't like is that there's not a lot of dino action, in my opinion. Like, when we do get it, it's good, but it needed more. But my biggest gripe with this movie is the plot. It's bad, man. Like, it focuses more on locusts and espionage. Why? Why would you focus on that for this film, especially since Fallen Kingdom set up such an interesting sequel? It feels so weird. It's not what I expected, and it feels like they just did this as a subversion, and not even a good one at that. So yeah, the plot's the biggest thing that I hate about this movie. It's just not interesting, and also the movie's just kind of boring at times. And you don't want to say that about a Jurassic Park movie, for it to be boring. I literally couldn't get through this film when I rewatched it a couple days ago. It was a slog to get through. I'm probably never watching this again. The only reason I watched it was to make a video on it and do a ranking. Maybe one day I'll do a full-on review, but just know that I didn't like this movie. I thought it was very disappointing, and I haven't watched it since. The only reason why I own it is because my mom liked it, and she enjoys it, and she watches it every now and then. So that's the only reason why I own it. But yeah, Jurassic World Dominion, bottom of the barrel. It's the worst Jurassic movie, period. So at my number 6, I got Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Another movie that I think was just pretty disappointing in my honest opinion. There are some good things. I think the cinematography looks great. The movie is very beautiful to look at. It's very much eye candy. I still like Owen and Claire. They're good characters. I still think the dino action is pretty good, but unfortunately, that might be it. There are a lot of things I don't like about this movie. I think the whole clone thing with Macy was just way too out there, even for Jurassic Park standards. I don't like that they underutilized Jeff Goldblum. He's literally in the movie for like 2 scenes. I don't like that they don't do anything with Dr. Wu as a villain. He's very much wasted in this film. I don't even like the human villains in general. They're way too cartoony for my liking. And I think the Endoraptor is not the most effective killer in this film. And she's also way too cartoony. Like, there's a scene that it looks like something out of Looney Tunes. It looks like a Looney Tunes skit. So I couldn't take her that seriously after that. And it's also, she slips a lot. Not really that intimidating. So yeah. Also the ending. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it, honestly, now that I think about it. Like, it set up an interesting sequel, but that sequel didn't live up to the hype. So yeah. Oh yeah, the pacing. It's just weird. The way this movie paces itself, I didn't like. They move on from the island way too fast and get to the mansion way too quickly. I feel like we should have spent more time on the island. But overall though, it's not horrible, but it's not that great either. I think the movie is just mediocre at best, and it's not a Jurassic movie I would watch that much, but I would watch this over Dominion any day. But anything above this, no, I would watch those movies way more than this one. Number five, this is where we start talking about the movies I actually like, and I'll start with the most overhated movie in the franchise, Jurassic Park 3. Not a perfect film. Obviously, it has problems, and I'm just gonna list off those problems right away. The only things I don't like about this movie are Paul and Amanda Kirby. I find their characters to be very annoying, and I couldn't stand them. I also don't like the fact that they separated Ellie and Alan. I thought that was a mistake, but in hindsight, they fixed that later on, so it's not a huge problem. The raptor dream sequence is absolutely stupid. It takes me out of the film a lot. I don't understand why they put that in. It is a dumb scene. And the animatronic work is not as good as it was in the first two movies. Like, it is understandable. Like I said, there was some production issues with this film, so I shouldn't crack on it too much. But in the film, it just doesn't look that good, and it pales in comparison to a lot of the animatronic work from the first two movies. I'm glad it's there. I'm glad there's an actual prop there, but it's just not that good looking, unfortunately. Now on to the good. I like that this movie is short. It's not a long movie. It's a very short and fun ride. So I can just sit down and watch this and have fun with it and not feel like it being a drag. I like Alan Grant in the film. He's still very good in these films. I'm glad that they chose him to come back instead of Ian Malcolm. Even though I guess it doesn't make too much sense at a story level because of the island they're in, but I don't care. I'm just happy to see him back. I love the dinosaur action in this movie. I think the Pteranodon scene is probably the most terrifying sequence in the entire movie, and it is very well done. The only problem with it is that there's a character in the film, I'm just going to say who it is, Billy. Something happens to him that I just feel like he wouldn't make it out of this situation alive, but for some reason he did later on. It just doesn't make sense. And of course, the biggest compliment I could give about this film is the Spinosaurus. She is absolutely my favorite villain in the entire Jurassic series. I think her design is so freaking good. I love how menacing she is. She's also one of the only dinosaurs that can say that killed the T-Rex. She's a threat in this film, and I absolutely adore her. But yeah, and also that's another thing. The entire T-Rex fight scene was just fantastic. I love it. It's the best scene in the movie, if not second best, right next to the Pteranodon. So overall, I don't hate this movie. I think it's pretty solid. It's not the greatest thing ever, but I really don't think it's as bad as people say it is. Like, it is enjoyable, and I do recommend you give it a watch. It's really not that bad. It's pretty decent. Right, at my number four, I got The Lost World Jurassic Park. Another movie that I like. Like, the only things I hate about this movie is just really two. And that's some of the characters, specifically the side characters. I don't like Nick Van Owen. I think he's kind of a douchebag in this film. He is an eco terrorist. He makes a lot of decisions that lead to a lot of deaths on the hunter's side, but also it could lead to a lot of deaths on his side. I just hate that he does stuff without thinking about the consequences. I really couldn't stand him. I just don't get why the movie kind of portrays him as a hero. I don't see him as a hero. I just see him as a douchebag. I really don't like Nick, and I wish Nick Van Owen got eaten. So that's just my opinion. And another character I don't like is Sarah Harding, mainly because she's another character that makes a lot of stupid decisions that puts herself in danger, but also the other people around her. She underestimates the danger of these animals, and I just really hate that. Her hubris is what bothers me the most. And when things go wrong and Ian calls her out on it, she's like, it's not that bad, I'm alive, right? These animals aren't that dangerous. But yeah, I hate her. I just think she's very, very dumb, and she just makes stupid decisions. I couldn't stand her. But that's really it, honestly. This movie, in my opinion, is pretty good. I enjoy the story. I like that it's a lot darker than the first movie. The dinosaur violence in this is a lot more. I wouldn't say as graphic, but it's a bit more graphic than the first movie, and I really enjoy that. I think Ian is still a good character. I enjoy him in this movie. He's a lot more cynical than the first one, but it makes sense. I like Kelly a lot. I think she's also another good character. She's also very useful. I know a lot of people hate the gymnastics scene, but I thought that scene was pretty cool, and it just shows how useful she is, and it helped out in the end. It helped the characters get out of a very bad situation. So I don't hate it. I think it's a good scene, even though it is silly, but I don't mind it. But that's really it. The only other thing I can think of that I can say positively is Roland Trumbo. He's probably the best character in the movie. He's the one character too that shows the other group, our group, kindness. You know, he could have treated them like crap, but he doesn't. He shows them kindness, and that's just another reason why I hate Owen, because he didn't appreciate the kindness that was shown to him. But Roland, he's a great character. I absolutely loved him. He's probably the best hunter character in the movie. And I think the San Diego sequence isn't bad. I do like it. I like that T-Rex goes around in the city basically causing mayhem, but it does go on for a bit too long in my opinion. The story in general is good. I really do like it. It's a good movie, honestly. It's not as good as the first one. It does have some problems, but I still enjoyed it, mainly because of how dark it is. Seriously, this is probably one of, if not the darkest Jurassic Park movie, and I really enjoy it. All right, at my number three, I got Jurassic World Rebirth. Another movie that I actually really liked. I know a lot of people didn't like this movie. I'm not really one of those people. I had fun with it. This is another movie that I took my mom and brother to see. They also really liked it. So that was a fun time to watch this movie with them. And I feel like this movie has a lot of good things. I do like the story. The way the story's formatted is kind of like objective based, and I actually appreciate that because each sequence in this movie is, well, the story is that they have to get DNA from different types of dinosaurs, and because of that, every time they encounter one of these dinosaurs, there's a nice little action sequence and suspenseful scenes. If I had to pick some of my favorites, it would have to be the Spinosaurus and Mosasaur one. That entire sequence is absolutely amazing, and it's the return of the Spino, even though it's not the same one from JP3, but I don't mind. I thought that entire sequence was just awesome. I love the Quetzal scene. That's another really tense scene that I really enjoy. But the best scene in the movie is probably the river raft scene. I absolutely adored it. I thought it was very well done. My only real complaint is that I wish it was a bit longer. But for a scene that was from the books that they finally adapted into a movie, I thought it was great. I think the characters are pretty good. Not the greatest, but they're serviceable enough. I enjoy them. My favorite has to be Duncan. He's just a good guy, honestly. I really like him. And I like his motivation in the movie and how he goes out of his way to help the other family and is always concerned about them. I thought that was just really sweet. As for the family, I think they're fine. Like, they didn't need to be in this movie, but I get why they're in it. I guess they're there for more moral compass for our mercenaries, or at least the other team. Dr. Henry Loomis is another character I really liked, mainly because of he feels like a stand-in for us, how we feel about these dinosaurs. He's in awe with these creatures just like we are. So I really like him. I think that the D-Rex is a good villain. The only problem is that she's underutilized, but I'll get more into that a bit. And I love the entire third act. The entire third act felt like a horror film, and I loved it. I just wish there was more of that, in my opinion. And it's a beautifully shot film. Obviously, this is made by Gareth Edwards, so the way he makes these dinosaurs feel gigantic, the scaling is fantastic. I'm so happy they chose him to direct this movie because he did a wonderful job with this movie and making the dinosaurs feel gigantic. Now on to the things I don't like, which is not a lot. Like I said, the only thing I don't like is the human villain. I just think he's very cookie cutter and generic. And the final thing I really don't like is that they underutilized the D-Rex. The D-Rex is barely in this film. She literally shows up in like two scenes, and that just disappointed me so much because I was so excited to see her. But she's really not in this movie that much, unfortunately. And I hate that. I hate that she's barely in it. But I will say, when she does show up, she's really cool and she's very effective. One of my favorite JP villains for dinosaurs. I just wish she was in it more. And one final thing I guess I could say about this movie is that I kind of feel like they toned down the dinosaur violence a little bit. It feels more kidified. Not that much, but it's not as, I guess, graphic as some of the other films. So the way they shoot it is some of the scenes where the dinosaurs eat people, they shoot it in a way where you can't really make out what's happening. So I did notice that. I thought that was disappointing, but it's just a nitpick. Overall, I love Jurassic World Rebirth, man. It's not a perfect movie, but it's a lot better than Jurassic World Dominion. So I'll give it that. I think it's pretty enjoyable, and it's definitely a movie that I'm going to rewatch a lot just because I think it's very fun. But overall, it's a good film. All right, and my number two, I got Jurassic World. Look, the best way I can describe this movie is that it's fun. It is just a really fun ride from start to finish. It has a lot of really good sequences. I think the Indominus Rex is a fantastic dinosaur villain. She is wonderful, and she's actually really terrifying, which is one of the things I just gotta give this movie praise. This movie is pretty scary. There is a lot of horrific, just downright scary scenes, and the dinosaur violence, it does not hold back. It's pretty graphic, and I didn't mind it. I actually did quite enjoy it because it added to the scare of this movie. But yeah, the Indominus Rex, one of the best dinosaur villains in a Jurassic World series. And I think the idea of making a hybrid dinosaur was just great. It was a good way to refresh this franchise and just come up with something new. They did overuse it a bit, but I still really like it in this movie, and I think for its first attempt to do that, it was fantastic. The movie also looks beautiful. It's a very pretty movie to look at, especially in 4K. Seriously, the colors just pop in this movie when you watch it in 4K. I like Owen Grady. I really, really do. I think he's just a very cool and entertaining character, and Chris Pratt is just awesome in the movie. Like, there are a lot of like silly sequences too, like obviously him riding with the raptors, but I don't care. This movie is just fun. It is just really, really fun to watch this movie, and I don't really have a lot of complaints, honestly. I just think it's really, really good. It's probably the best Jurassic Park sequel. If I really had to cherry pick some complaints, is that I think it was weird that they turned Henry Wu into a villain. Don't know why they did that. That kind of came out of nowhere, but that might be it, honestly. And I guess Simon Maserati isn't that interesting, but overall, I love Jurassic World. I think it is such a good and fun movie. It was a nice return to form for the franchise. I definitely think it is the best sequel in the series, and it probably has the best villain in the series. Seriously, the Indominus Rex is terrifying. But yeah, I love Jurassic World, man. I think it's really fun. This is again another movie I took my mom and my brother to see, and we loved it. Me personally, it lived up to my expectations, and I'm so happy it turned out well. All right, my obvious number one, Jurassic Park. One of my favorite childhood movies. This is a movie that my parents introduced to me, and even as a kid, I absolutely loved this film, and I love this movie ever since. I'm so grateful my parents showed me this film because it is very good. I get my love from these series, from these movies, definitely from my mom and dad. They just love these movies, and I love them. But I don't know what to say, honestly, that hasn't already been said about this film. I think the story is fantastic. I love the philosophical question it asks about whether or not these dinosaurs should be brought back from the dead, and the ethical reasons on whether it's right or wrong and what can go wrong, which a lot goes wrong. I love the characters. I love Hammond. I love Ellie Sattler. I love Malcolm. I love Dr. Grant. I love Lex and Tim. They are all wonderful characters. They're all performed well by their actors. I think there is so many good suspenseful scenes, whether it be the raptor sequence or the scene with the T-Rex, which is one of the most iconic scenes ever put into cinema. I adore that scene. And it's one of the scenes that I look forward to the most when I watch this movie. I think the dino scenes too, the dino violence is really well done. It's very terrifying, it's scary, and that's another thing. The movie is pretty scary, and it has some really nice suspenseful scenes. I think the way everything's shot looks beautiful. Steven Spielberg makes a very pretty looking movie. I really enjoy it. It's full of spectacle and excitement. Like, again, I don't know what else I can add, honestly. If I really had some cherry pick complaints, is yeah, I guess the CGI hasn't aged the best, but it's really not that bad. The animatronic work, though, fantastic. It still looks amazing, and even to this day. Again, I don't know what else I can add to this movie. All I can say is that I love Jurassic Park, the first one. It is absolutely in my top 10, if not even, no, in my top 5 favorite films of all time. I adore this movie, and one day I do want to go more in depth in a review for this film, but for now, it is my number one. It will always be my number one. None of the sequels will ever top this first film. Hell, even Spielberg himself couldn't top this first film. I love Jurassic Park. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's a movie that I would cherish forever. It's a movie that I'm going to show my future kids if I ever have any, just like my parents did to me. I love this movie. I adore it to death, and it's one of my favorite films of all time, if not my favorite movie of all time. It's fantastic. But yeah, that's my list. That's my ranking of all the Jurassic Park movies. Thank you for watching. Let me know how you would rank all these movies and which was your favorite to least favorite. But Until then, I'll see you next time.